Good afternoon, folks. Got another cider review here and a bit of an overview of the Orchard Thieves brand. Just be aware that this applies to the New Zealand Orchard Thieves brand. I gather that there are some international sites. So this is the Orchard Thieves apple cider, the crisp apple. They also do a variety of variations along the recordling line with various added fruit flavours. So you won't find a specific website for the Orchard Thieves New Zealand range. The orchardthieves.ie site is part of the Heineken group from Ireland, so completely separate. You'll find Orchard Thieves under the db.co.nz site. Orchard Thieves is one of 4 cider brands that Dominion Breweries have. DB are one of the 2 big breweries in New Zealand. Lion, DB, I guess you could include the Urseg independent liquor group in that as well, although most of the beers they actually make you haven't heard of unless they make them under license. So you get a reasonable amount of information. There's a nutritional breakdown, but for whatever reason they don't actually have the nutrition details for this apple cider. They have it for a whole range of other ciders, and that was a bit of a theme. There's information at the redwoodcider.co.nz site, which is where these ciders are all, as far as I can tell, actually made, if not bottled. But the sites are quite out of date, and they don't match up. I mean, for example, you'll find that there are 2 flavours of the Orchard Thieves cider on the Redwood side, and there are 4 on the DB side. But nothing about this apple cider. I guess the interweb is difficult for all of us, but it's obviously particularly difficult for breweries. But there you go. So the 4 ciders that DB have in New Zealand are Orchard Thieves, which are, as far as I can tell, mostly fruit flavoured and sweeter. The fruit flavoured varieties are sold in 500ml bottles singly. This as you can probably tell, this crisp apple is sold in a 12-pack, 4.5% 12-pack, for about $22 from most supermarkets, and probably a little bit more at your local liquor store. So Orchard Thieves is the first one. Monteith's is the second cider brand. They obviously also make beer. That's more craft-like, and they tend to make plainer ciders and some perries. DB also make the recordling cider under license. I know there's a bit of controversy about recordling, but as far as I've been able to establish, if cider's sold in a New Zealand supermarket, it has to have natural fruit ingredients, and so if you buy recordling from a New Zealand supermarket, it should just have natural fruit flavourings in it. The last one from DB, the last cider from DB is called Old Mout, which is a stronger cider, up around 8%, often also sold as Scrumpy, and you'll generally find that in PET bottles around 1.5 litres. You can't, unfortunately, you can't get a tour of the cidery unless you qualify as a VIP, they told me. But when I rang, they were quite happy to answer my questions. I got put through to someone who actually made the cider. So yeah, no complaints at all there, and definitely better than some of the others. So what's in this? Supposedly the freshly crushed apples, yeast and sulfites. So pretty mainstream ingredients. As far as what do they say it's like, they're rather voluminous. Orchard Thieves is the newest cider brand in the DB portfolio. We thought it was high time that a cider was fermented to be firstly delicious and on trend, but not cost the earth either. A cider fermented to be for everyone, from fruit foraged as locally as we can get it, which I suspect just means that they buy the apples from Enza like almost everyone else. Orchard Thieves cider combines crisp apple cider with cunningly selected combinations of fruit, delivering a taste that is crisp and refreshing. Well, this one obviously doesn't, but there you go. Orchard Thieves is best enjoyed when the sun's out. There's nothing better than that magical moment opening up a cool, crisp orchard thieves cider while soaking up some rays, telling yarns and recounting the stories that have gone before and plotting the next adventure, and so on and so on. They really do go to town. But essentially, they're trying to sell a story, I guess. But there you go. So if we actually get this into a glass, you can see it's the usual cider. Not particularly impressive head, just sort of a finger worth of white foam, which quickly fades, and it looks pretty well exactly like sparkling apple juice. And if you take a sip, that's also exactly what it tastes like. It tastes exactly like New Zealand apple, a generic New Zealand apple juice, with a little bit of fermentation having gone on. So there's that slight kick and improved mouthfeel from the alcohol. But generally, there's nothing wrong with it. It's very competently made. Redwood have been making ciders for ages, and this one got a bronze medal at I can't remember if I said or not, but this one got a bronze medal at the 2017 New World Beer and Cider Awards, so it's obviously competently made. It's quite clearly a 4 or 5% cider, as opposed to the 8% Scrumpy versions. Those have got much more of a kick, and the apple flavour is really dominated by the alcohol. But it is also fuller flavoured than the lower or mid-strength ones, which in New Zealand tend to be between 2 and 3%. So yeah, it's if that's what you're looking for, a sweet cider. If you tend to like something like the Recordling, or you really enjoy apple juice, then this will be right up your alley, because it really just is fermented table apples, and a competent attempt. I don't think the premium is really deserved. I don't think it's marketed as a premium product. It's meant to be affordable for every man. I think someone's just got a little bit carried away there, but yeah, no real worries. Would I buy it again? No, probably not, because I like a drier cider. And so if I was asked to pick one from the DB range, I'd choose something from the Monteith's range. But if you like sweet ciders, something like your Recordling, but just want plain apple without all the fancy fruit additives, definitely give this a go. It's quite a bit cheaper than the 500ml ones that you'll buy singly, and yeah, nothing too wrong with it. I'd give it a rating of 13 out of 20. Hope you're enjoying what you're drinking, and have a good one. Cheers.